the Olaf, and you can never kill him because he's going to have AP shields from the Janna. He's going to have the Yumi Zoomies.
And we're going to see Nemesis or Bwipo play the Yasuo alongside the knockup from the Rakan, the knockup from the Gragas, the knockup from the set. This can be very powerful. I do want to say, of course, that set can be still flexed mid or top. It could be Yasuo mid or top as well. With Yasuo, you expect it to be mid, and G2 have their final pick. We wondered if it would be a mid counter. But that's what it's going to be, as it looks like Akali will be locked in for G2.
Okay, so I think that this Yasuo will be going top lane, and the set will be going into mid, and then the expectation is that G2 have picked the Akali, hoping to get that the set matchup in the mid lane. But we'll have to wait and see. We won't speculate for now. Let's just talk about the comps in their entirety. First off, Fnatic, very strong scaling. You can see things like the Kai'Sa, Yasuo, Gragas, such strong late game threat, very strong team fighting, easy engage. You can clearly see that they have so many options as well. The ability to play split push, the ability to force fights. They have so many ways in which they can win this game. G2 is pretty much dependent on whether or not this Olaf can get strong enough to then be hyper buffed by the Janna and the Yumi. The early game is going to be so important for G2 because if they fall behind, I think it'll be very difficult for them to reclaim control over this game.
Totally agree with you there, Vedius. Bwipo is taking set in the top lane. Nemesis is taking Yasuo. Of course, Nemesis could just walk to the top lane and he would be playing Yasuo in the top lane.
The game. Let's talk about what these junglers are planning to do, and let's look at these early game options. So, Yanko starting on the bot side, Selfmade doing the same thing. Selfmade could choose to do a full clear on his bot side, and then look for either an early scuttle in the river, or maybe a mid lane gank. Akali, with the recent changes, where she received pretty significant energy increases to her Q, mean that she is a lot weaker in the early laning phase, and Yasuo should actually be able to trade very effectively in that 1 versus 1, which means that the Gragas does have options in the mid lane, but he's choosing not to go for it. We can see that Selfmade skipping his Krugs, actually choosing to go for red into topside. This is probably in consideration of a potential Olaf invade, but that's not what Jankos is doing. He's doing the full clear. He wants to make sure he's getting as much golden experience as possible, because we've got to think about the context of the comp. This is the hyper Jankos carry game. This is the game where he is going to get the Yumi, he is going to get the Janna, and all the resources are going to be put on his back as he's just running.
Really interesting back and forth, because Fnatic have put a lot of time into getting Hittersang towards the top lane. Now they've brought Reckless up here as well, and they're looking to take the first turret. And they've kind of just abandoned bot lane to Bwipo.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Like, Fnatic made that swap happen. They can now set their sights on Perks. Remember, no flash available.
Bwipo's going to jump in on the bottom side. You can see the charm coming into Perks. Bwipo uses the showstopper to get out. Jankos tanking up the tower. Perks able to survive. And Bwipo still alive underneath this turret. Let's switch down towards the bottom lane as Bwipo continues to survive. But the prowling projectile will hit, and you have to think that he's not going to keep himself alive too much longer. G2 get their first kill.
And we talked about how Nemesis, his exhaust is going to be great against an Olaf. If Reckless does dive onto the backline, he's immediately going to get exhausted as well. So something that Fnatic will have to respect and play around, as right now they have full control over the bot side of the map. They are securing more plates, and they will secure the first Infernal Drake as well. But honestly, I feel like Fnatic, the fact that he hasn't been able to find any kills or assists yet, it obviously makes him a little bit weaker, as Wonder takes a little bit of poke there. But that's going to be important to track as we progress throughout this game.
Definitely, as both Wonder and Mickey have completed their quests on their support items, so now we're going to see how much G2 can play around the extra vision they should have on the map. You can see there's 3 sweepers on the side of G2, and a couple of Farsight alterations, whereas Fnatic are missing 1 Farsight alteration.
Yeah, but they've got themselves 3 sweepers as well. Yeah. Obviously going to be very important. Fnatic looking for a bit of an engage, but G2's ability to disengage is strong as well. Jankos does, of course, have the ult.
Pops it straight away. The Showstopper's not going to chase him down. Nemesis not hit with the True Shot Barrage as Bwipo tries to put a lot of damage down. There's the Monsoon. They're looking to try and take out Jankos before the fight really begins, but Jankos is still surviving. Perks now in the backline. He's gone down to about half HP. Bwipo had to jump off towards the top side as Caps is trying to trade onto Nemesis. Nemesis gets the knockup, but Jankos has already killed Bwipo. And now the fight really goes in here in earnest. The flash in from Selfmade. Reckless dives onto the backline, and Jankos is he going to be able to get him? He gets him! 3v2 now in. Oh, it's a 3v3 too. Mickey's still alive. Hittersang low. Reckless Selfmade in the wrong jungle right now as Caps is on the chase. Reckless on a blast cone, but Caps is going to try and do what he can to chase him down. Nemesis and Selfmade and Reckless going to get chased down here. The speed up from the zoomies from Caps is just too strong. Reckless levels up, evolves in the jungle. Will G2 find him out? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, now you're on a ward, Reckless, but can you get away? He's going to clear some of this control out, and the teleport actually comes in for Fnatic. They're committing. Whippo's on his way. Reckless can just ring around, and Rosie's get out through the bottom side of this jungle.
Ends up walking out, and now we end up in this situation where the game's still very even, but Fnatic hold the gold lead. They're going to secure the Rift Herald as well, because you can see G2 resetting on the map, and these fights very close, very tense, and a lot of it will come down to execution. We talked a lot about this, but Fnatic, it still feels like that they're the ones.